25 years ago, a group of survivors took shelter underground to survive an insane war that engulfed the planet. When the ashes cleared, they surfaced to a world mutated beyond recognition. Today, outnumbered by hostile forces, they survive as soldiers and scientists, preserving the past. If you have hope for the future, if you want humanity to persevere, maybe you can join the Brotherhood.
Well, actually, you know what? Just sit where the hell.
No, I'm gonna be up here, and then I'll follow him down.
Oh, hi.
Hello, Reginald. I believe this is... I was supposed to go for whatever it is that you wanted from me?
Ah, yes. You got anything on you that, possibly need to pat you down for or nothing like that?
What? Oh, right. For security purposes. I have my pistol and I have my rifle in my backpack, but it hasn't been functioning well. Do you mind if I store those here?
Go right ahead. I'll keep a nice tight eye on you.
Gotcha. Gray takes a moment to take his pistol out of his holster, along with the broken parts of his rifle, to store them away temporarily in the cigarette machine next to him. However, he does not mention the 2 plasma grenades that he has tucked in his backpack. Alright, I believe that is it.
Alright, I'll buzz you on in through. See that door right behind you on the left?
Ah, yes, that one?
Yep, go right on through.
Gotcha. Give me a moment here. He takes a look through his backpack once more, just checking over a couple things, including some metal parts. Alright. Gotta say, this is quite an impressive place. Hello, Redcliffe. Good to see you again.
Mr. Gray, go ahead and take a seat.
Right. He takes a look around the place just once more. I see you guys have been, Glad it's not one of the ransacked ones out here in the mire. So, here we are. You wanted to see me?
Yes, well, we've decided as a group that you are a valid candidate to take the B.E.S.T testing.
The what? Testing for what?
Well, we'd like to give you a formal invitation to our group.
Really? You
Yes.
think I'd work well with your group?
Well, you have the training. I mean, we can tell that. And you seem to be able to keep your wits about you in dangerous situations. So, we'd like to give you the invitation formally.
Well, I'm quite surprised you'd allow me this honor, but I'd gladly take it. It's good to work with your group. I've seen what you can do against the Scorched, and, well, me just by myself, I cannot handle their large numbers back further west.
Right. So, for your information, the B.E.S.T is actually the Brotherhood entrance supplementary testing. So, we call it the B.E.S.T.
Before we begin, however, I just need to get some clarifications first before you initiate this test. If that's alright.
Go ahead.
So, this Brotherhood of Steel group, what does it think of the United States, at least in ideals-wise? Freedom, democracy, rebuilding the country once more?
While the Brotherhood does not have an official stance on rebuilding or reforming the government itself, the Brotherhood does believe in the ideals that America stood for. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Good. That's a good start. I guess if the United States were to rebuild, would you take on the more military arm if that were ever possible? Just hypothetically thinking.
As a senior knight, I am not permitted to answer such questions. I cannot speak for our elders on the West Coast, as well as Paladin Africa. But
No. I didn't expect you that. My apologies. With the whole disconnect between the East and the West Coast, I kind of figured there would be some communication issues, but is there, do you believe that would be ever possible?
well, it depends on who tries to form said government. The Brotherhood was founded out of separation from the pre-war military, the pre-war government, because of their corruption.
I understand that.
Well, the actual information I can share with you at a later time if you decide to join, or if you pass the B.E.S.T. But now that's all at liberty that I'm able to say.
Alright, well that's unfortunately all I'm gonna have to work with here then. Tell me, how deep underground are we?
Well, I'm sure Carlson would probably actually know the specifics.
Probably like 50 feet here.
Okay, good. I'd rather no one else would hear this conversation. Speaking of which, he glances around a little bit to make sure. There's a couple things I need to speak to you about in as private as condition that is possible of your group. But do you trust me at all? I'm sure you don't, right?
I'm aware of your actions, shall we say. We have been watching you. And we have noticed how you've, let's say, perused certain things of interest.
My apologies, but I had reasons behind that I might have to explain at a later date. But for now, all I need to tell you is that I am putting my faith and my life in your hands. If any information slips out, I may be a dead man, and until my mission of cleaning out the Scorched is complete, I would rather not have that happen. The people... Let's just say that there's a group of United States government that is still technically around, and I work with them off and on, gathering information. That is all I'm going to say for now.
Are they here?
Other than me, no. They are further west out in Appalachia. That is all I'm going to say. I cannot really give any information on our numbers, but excluding that, we are a small number left.
So, kind of like our own group.
Correct. And it is in my best interest that I keep your group alive. Because this Scorched issue is too much for our group to handle. And it is too much for any survivor group to handle as well. I've already seen what can happen. Distrust, thievery, and then ultimately death.
So that's one of the reasons that you're down here right now, is because of what we're facing. And we need every capable arm that we can get that can
My
hold a gun
group
to
does
fight
not
these
trust
things.
me to be here. But here I am, nevertheless. So this is a very, very dangerous thing for me to be down here with your group. They do not like your group very much simply for the fact that they're aware that the Brotherhood of Steel, well, broke off from the military.
So, if I understand this correctly, you are saying you are in league with people that are, well,
That may or may
exactly
not
friendly.
be hostile. Yes. I've been trying very carefully to pursue, to look for better relations, to try and maybe see if your group can be brought back into the fold, but simply put, for better for worse, that may not happen anytime soon. And in your such case, it would probably be best if that didn't happen right now, with the way things are going on. That is all I'm going to really say.
Well, all I can say is that we're kind of looking forward at this point, not so much looking back. So we're trying to
As
work
am
with.
I.
All right, we're trying to fix what we're dealing with right now, so that there can be a later. But as you know, what's going on above this bunker, it's ugly out there, man. And if we don't do something about it, we might all be gone.
Yes. This might be humanity's extinction event, this plague, the Scorched, and the Scorched Beasts.
But at the same time, we will not compromise our ideals and morals to accomplish that end. Because what purpose is humanity's survival if we lose the core of ourselves in doing so?
No, and I never expected you to. That is why I'm sitting here before you, seeing what I can do. Now that you know, well, the decision is in your hands whether or not you want to still recruit me. Keep in mind, I may have to bring back certain information. I probably will not tell them that I've joined your group, but that I've still remained in contact, and that is all.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm pretty nervous about this thing that you're talking about. I would prefer that any information that you do give this other group is about how we are taking care of what we're taking care of. But
Correct.
do you think, I mean, this is all new information, Gray. I had no idea that this was something that was going on until right now.
The only way I can see this working is that we will filter through any information that you are sending back to these people. We don't care who you're sending it to.
That may be the best option.
But we will filter through it. If there's anything compromising to the Brotherhood's interests, then we will shut it down.
I understand that.
The Brotherhood was already wiped out once. Our predecessors were wiped out once. We cannot allow such operational risks.
Yeah, we can't fail. That's the one sure thing here, is that we cannot fail.
No, and I do not want you to fail this mission. If you were to fail, you are the very last vanguard group of people that may still have a very good opportunity to shut down the Scorched virus. Otherwise, I don't know who else to turn to at this point. Our numbers are way too few to be able to control this, and we simply cannot wait it out.
However, I am curious as to your group's knowledge about these things, whether they have further intel or, well, let's say greater research than we have attained at this point. Would you say that they do?
Ray goes silent for a bit and shifts a little nervously in his seat. About the Scorched... All we know is that they might mainly come from the Cranberry Bog area, and that the bats, or whatever they are, the SBs as you call them, or the Alpha Bravos...
Sierra Bravos.
Sierra Bravos. Jeez. They seem to nest in that area, so whatever can be done is we need to wipe out the nest first before we focus on the Scorched. Culling the Scorched is good, but their numbers seem almost endless, and my fear is that they're coming from one of the other states to the south. But as for where this virus came from, I'm sorry, I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps it was a mutation from the radiation and maybe whatever's in that bog area. But I can't really say for sure.
Out of character, would you want me to roll to see if I can tell that he's being...
Yeah.
Actually, you both need to roll. Gray, you need to...
I have a charisma of 4, so this is going to be very easy success.
All right, so roll
Well,
a d10 and add that to your charisma. And do you have any...
I don't have a D10 on me.
So
you're gonna have to
do
roll.
it in dice rolls, the channel.
Yeah, yeah. So you do exclamation point, roll, space, 1d10, lowercase d.
It was an 8.
So that's a 12. And then that's a perception versus, plus a d10 versus that.
Right. So 14 plus.
And I'll give a description on what my character's doing.
Do you have any, like, spy-ish perks as well, or?
Well, I effectively just rolled a 24, so...
Oh, yeah, that's okay, so that's ridiculous. Yeah, so you absolutely see right through it.
Alright, let me give an explanation.
hold up, I'm not calling you out.
Yeah, he's gotta actually, so he's not reacting yet.
No, but I'm giving like a physical explanation of what my character's doing. Not saying,
okay.
Not gonna say anything. Okay. On closer inspection, you could see Gray's eyes shifting a little bit nervously around, and he is indeed slightly sweating. It seems that asking the question about where the Scorched originated from is a question he seems to want to avoid and simply blame it on the Cranberry Bog area and perhaps even the radiation from the nuclear bombs from the Great War. It seems like he is not answering the question truthfully, or he has something else to hide.
Tycho reaches down to his Pip-Boy.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, I'm less concerned about where these things came from and more concerned about what we're gonna do with them right now.
I pray that there is a cure, but from what I've tried, it doesn't appear to be so. Maybe a vaccine?
Well, we're working on that.
Good.
You hear Redcliffe whisper something into his comlink.
Gray quietly reaches one of his hands down to grasp part of his pocket. Is there an issue?
Of course not. Of course not.
Okay. So
I notice you're sweating there a little bit, son. Are you sure that's all you'd like to tell us?
Considering that I'm, sitting here with you all and telling you this information, I have a pretty good reason to sweat. That, and it may not look like it, but I have some kind of combat armor underneath this outfit here. So this outfit is simply to hide this. As he takes off this suit, you can see that it's definitely a militarized looking set of combat armor. And then he sits back down. This is more or less my recon gear. I don't know if you've seen me, but sometimes I scout around a little bit in this getup. helps. It saved my life quite a few times. He taps the chest plate, pointing to a few holes in the armor. Some of these holes I've gotten from, well, doing patrols with your group.
So, if I'm getting the facts straight, at this point you are saying that you are part of a group that is not directly hostile, but is neither not friendly. You are equipped with high-grade military equipment that I and Carlson, as former military members, do not recognize, and have knowledge of the Scorch's operations. And they're
Right.
at least a hint as to their origins.
Wait, you know where they're from? Maybe.
Are you asking me or him?
You.
Once again, we believe that the Cranberry Bog is where they've mainly been nesting. I've done trips around the outer perimeter, and I've seen nothing but those fissures where these bats have been coming from. And as we all saw as we went down there to rearm those SAM sites, they're still very protective of their territory. So it would make sense to call it a nest. I don't know what's been going on with the city of Watoga itself. It's probably just as bad. Maybe even worse.
They're definitely roosting there.
And the real question is, how do we kill it? How do we kill the nest?
Well, I think before we share any of those plans or operations, we need to figure out exactly what we are going to do with the elephant in the room.
Of course, me being the elephant, I'm assuming. It has taken me a lot of strength to tell you this information. It is very dangerous to my own health that I'm giving you this information. I am only a single man amongst a very, your well-armed group of people. I'm not here to try and attack any of you. I just want to make my intentions clear that the Scorched are arguably the biggest threat to humanity here, and that is why I'm here.
Well, here's my take on this, Gray. You're here. They're not. We're here. They're not. We're the only people here that know about this situation that can do anything about it. It doesn't matter what's happening on the West Coast or even further east. This is all we've got. So what I want to know is, can you commit to our cause and to this organization to see this organization's goals done?
If it means cleaning out the Scorched, then yes. Just keep in mind that my allegiance is to the United States of America. I will help out your cause for as long as I can before it has become apparent that I am simply doing more than just helping your group in my superior's eyes, or at least monitoring your group. That's what I mean.
Well, in our eyes, many of us are. I mean, we went into a vault and spent 25 years toiling in that vault to come out here with the sole intention of rebuilding America.
So, if you're going to actually join our group, I'm going to need you to provide and turn over that armor you're wearing so we can understand it.
You do realize that if any of my equipment goes missing, it is going to raise an alarm within my group.
Do you report back directly with those people?
Occasionally,
In person?
yes. Yes.
Would it be
However,
possible to study it piece by piece?
that is another opportunity that I could possibly grant you, but I think I have something a little bit better. Ray reaches down into his backpack and starts taking out pieces of broken metal, copper tubing, and other bits of what appear to be weapon parts of some kind of plasma-related weapon and hands them over to Redcliffe. You might be able to slightly put those back together, but be warned that thing does not work. So I was sent here more than to just recon and monitor your group. I was sent here to take a look at the status of the environment and see what kind of creatures are roaming about in the area as well. Furthermore, I was sent to, well, recover lost equipment that belongs to the United States government. And among that is that, a plasma rifle. You should stand up and take it out for a second and look it over. There's some, it's quite an interesting weapon, but I haven't gotten it to work. We'll probably need a couple more days, perhaps even a week at the longest, to possibly get that thing back together. It is way too dangerous to he silences, hearing footsteps behind him.
You're fine. The bunker is secure.
Very well. It's a plasma rifle. That's all that needs to be said.
Yes. I'll have the scribes look it over later, but if you have any kind of weapons technology, advanced armor, schematics, anything like that, we need to be aware of it. We never know if this group might come into conflict with us, and this is more of a faith thing. We've allowed you into our bunker. Right now we are taking an operational risk. I'm not asking you to give us your armor, but we're gonna need information about said weapons and armor.
Okay. Well, I could tell you.
But we'll go over that. We'll go over that at a future time. For now, this is a good enough
Anything that can help
piece
us,
of good faith.
Well, I've essentially given you a primary piece of equipment in our arsenal, so I hope you're happy with that to some degree, and I hope you get it working. Would be too bad seeing your group fitted with plasma rifle equipment. It will remind me of the good old days, really. But
Well, as I said, it's a good enough gesture of goodwill for now.
I'll see if I can reacquire another set of this armor, possibly off of another lost comrade. But that will take time.
Okay.
Do you have anything
Like
else
I said,
to tell
the
us?
Right.
Sorry.
No? I'll see what I can come up with.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because we're talking about all this, but we haven't even given you the test yet.
Yes, well, I wanted to make everything as clear as I can that I am not a threat.
No, I appreciate that, Gray. You've been very helpful, not just here, but in our operations.
I was your pack mule for ammo.
Well, to be fair, who isn't?
Fair enough.
I can't count how many times I've had to lug ammo back and forth.
We seriously need to capture a Protectatron and turn that into an ammo carrier.
Scribe Reginald, can I help you?
I locked Red out of the bunker by accident. I closed the door as soon as I heard his footsteps and shit. I'm sorry.
Well, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and walk around her.
Okay.
I could just get up and go get that real quick if need be.
It's alright.
Okay.
So the doors are open, Reginald.
Yep, he
Yeah,
sees me
Red's
now.
in here.
Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry.
No, it's totally a thing.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
You're both terrible and you should feel terrible.
I do.
There we go. That's for giving me lip earlier on the mission.
I have an idea.
Listen,
I have an idea to fix this in the future. We need a powered door with a code.
You said we need a powered door, damn it.
I know. On the outside of the other doors. All right. Go.
Okay. So, if you're ready, I can now give you the B.E.S.T testing.
Oh joy. Another test I have to pass. Alright.
Okay then. Section 1, question 1. Do you want to join the Brotherhood of Steel, and why?
Considering that you're initiating me, well, I guess the reason is that currently there needs to be some kind of military force patrolling the wasteland, or what's left of America, and to also help her take it. My group certainly cannot do that, and, well, if everything goes well and the communists somehow show up, then at least we'll have a same enemy to fight again, beat up. At that point, hopefully, if possible, maybe I can get into a higher leadership position inside my own group, and possibly, who knows, reunite the states again, together. That's a long way off.
Yeah, I'd say looking a little bit far into the future there, but it's a goal. Question 2. How many Scorched have you killed?
At this point, I've stopped counting, but I can tell you for sure, before you even came out of the vault, I was killing Scorched. And, well, until the day I die, I still will.
Okay.
I don't know how many weapons I've used, I don't know how many bullets I've spent, how many times I've had to use other weapons, and how many times I almost, well, got killed by those bastards.
Right. Question 3. How many people have you killed?
That one's going to be a hard one to answer as well. Unfortunately, I've had to deal with people trying to, be, hostile, crude, and
Well.
unfortunately in my way sometimes as well, when I had a greater objective in mind. And once again, I don't have the numbers, but I can tell you I've killed raiders as well in the Savage Divide when they were still a hassle. But I've unfortunately had to put down people that, well, I would rather have kept alive now that I've had time to think about it. You have a lot of time to think about things when no one's around, but it's for another day.
Well, that answers question 4. Why? Alright. So we're on to section 2. The remaining questions are multiple choice, so feel free to choose the best answer accordingly.
Of course.
Question 5. You are on patrol with your squad and get caught in a rat storm. After it passes, you notice that one of your men under your command has suddenly started jumping higher than any human should be able to jump. Do you, A, make him the squad sniper as he can now easily get to a higher vantage point? B, make a mental note to pick him for your baseball team during the next game? C, offer him a rataway to flush his system and have the medic look over him later?
Is that it?
Yes.
I mean, the choice is simple. You pick him for the baseball team. I'm just kidding. Well, I've dealt with mutations before, and it takes a while to flush it out of the system. But if he is important to the cause, then it's obvious that you need him alive, and applying Radaway is obviously the best course of action, and seeing if that stabilizes and hopefully gets rid of the mutation itself.
Okay then. Question 6. You encounter a group of starving vault dwellers during a mission of scientific importance. They are in dire need of supplies and may not survive much longer without food. You are carrying a bare minimum of rations, and helping them may compromise the mission. Do you A, give them some of your supplies with the intent to scavenge more later? B, keep your supplies and continue with your mission? C, put them out of their misery?
This one's a little bit tougher because I've had something like this occur once. Both the first and the last are viable options because with this current, scorched virus, even if you give them food, you are not confirming whether or not they'll survive against the scorched. But For the sake of trying to get everyone together as, as best as possible, I would give them my food. As much as I would dislike it, especially if they turn out to, turn into scorched later.
Alright then. Let me just jot that down. Alright, question 7. For weeks, a bandit has managed to steal supplies from your camp under the cover of night. You finally manage to catch him, and in doing so, find most of the missing goods. Do you A. Recover your goods and let the bandit go? B. Join forces with the bandit as they have bested you for weeks? C. Bring the bandit back to camp to discuss his fate with the other survivors in your group?
It's going to be the last option. Someone that's stealing from others, no matter what their intentions are, that cannot be, excused. There are special cases for it, sure, but they don't know what your group is dealing with either. For all, we could know you could be lacking medical supplies and they're stealing precious resources that are needed to help others. So,
Right.
Honestly, though, I would put a bullet in them first, but taking them back to the group is, that's the only option, so I suppose I'll go with that.
Acceptable. Question 8. Back in the vault, Timmy Mason used to run a Tragic the Garnering tournaments in the cafeteria every Friday. Did you A. Observe cautiously from a distance? B. Build your own deck and join in? Or C. Flip the table and yell, "Tunnel Snakes rule"?
Oh, hold up. I'm really interested in this one because the way I understand it, Gray was never in the vault. Do you even know what Tragic the Garnering was?
I'm assuming this is a Vault Tech thing, is it?
Nah, man. This is a game.
A game.
A game.
So
yeah.
something like one of those Pip-Boy games?
No,
Right.
actually, it was much more old-fashioned than that. It
Oh,
was a
it was like a
card-based game.
Oh, Well, I mean, gotta do what you can do to pass time down there, I suppose. I know how that can feel.
So
I don't really have an answer to that.
I guess in this case we gotta kind of change the lexicon here.
No, I don't think it needs to be changed. I just watch from a distance, curiously and cautiously, as, any American agent would do, I suppose.
But do you play any of those kind of games? You know what holotape games are, so.
To a degree. Found them amongst the rubble.
Well, did you play them before?
I think they did have a few around, but most of the time we were, this is kind of classified, I suppose, but we were mostly training ourselves through computers and...
But I mean, did you personally play any of those games, or did you have any interest in them? Like, what was your opinion of people who played those games?
Look, there's a lot of ways you can distract yourself out here, and those ways, they're completely fine by me. It's better than what the Raiders were doing to people.
Alright, that's all we're looking for, man.
Yeah, it's alright by me. I'm not going to
Right.
look down upon anyone trying to entertain themselves out in this hellhole.
Alright then. Question 9. You come across a group of survivors who are clearly raiders. They are not immediately hostile, as they notice your power armor. Do you A. Clear out the raider group to ensure they pose no danger to others? B. Walk away, choosing to avoid violence? C. Point them towards another group with opposing views to yours to kill 2 birds with 1 stone?
That's an interesting question. I was going to dismiss all of it except for the first part, but that third option, that is an interesting one, isn't it? It's like a pitfall, trap, making it obvious that, well, I think I'm going to try and use others against, I would tell them to go fight the super mutants if that's an option, but in this case, another survivor group, I need as many hands as I can get. Capable hands willing to fight the Scorched. So, option A it is. I'm not gonna let a bunch of raiders harass and take advantage of others' weaknesses.
Well, keep in mind that this is a standardized test, not tailored to you at all.
Right.
We're looking for answers within the parameters.
Right.
So, moving on. Question 10. You are on patrol when you hear gunfire ahead. Over a small ridge, you see a sizable group of survivors. Some armed. Others include women and children. Fleeing from a massive Scorched who are bearing down on them. Do you A. Leave them to their fate and continue your patrol? B. Wait for the fighting to die down, then reclaim any gear of interest off the dead? D. Attack the massive Scorched to buy the survivors time to escape, possibly at the cost of your own life?
Considering how much time I've put into stopping this damn thing, it's gonna be the last option. I've already accepted my fate. Either I turn into one of them, or I get my own head blown off. I'm gonna take down as many as I can.
Alright then. So, that concludes the B.E.S.T testing.
Mm-hmm.
You will make sure to get these filed with the scribe. Senior Knight Carlson, do you have any comments?
I don't. As long as our loyalties are where they need to be, and you know the job, I think we're good here.
Considering you know my loyalty is to be that of America, and this Scorched thing is not in her interests.
No,
This
it
isn't
is
going to
not.
be the United States of Scorched.
At this point,
Ray
it might
picks
be
up
the
his
whole
backpack
world.
and his backpack and duster to set them back on. Alright.
Alright.
So you have those parts. Take a good, close look at them, and try not to fire the thing in its current state. I don't want your hands melting.
Well, it wouldn't be my hands, it would be a scribe's hands. They're much more intelligent when it comes to this kind of thing. But, so we're clear that any information regarding the Brotherhood that is sent back to your original group will be purviewed by us beforehand to ensure that there is no operational risks or security risks that
Right.
in said information.
So, what do you want me to tell them when I head out of here later? I'll probably have to speak with someone on radio for a brief bit of time.
That under complete supervision and heavy guard, you are allowed entry into the bunker. But we're unable to get any information about the deeper workings.
I'll tell them you somehow managed to drag a Nuka-Cola machine out in here, so... They still might be capitalists, so there's that. They're not communists. I'll
No
point
worries
that
there.
out.
Did you have any other concerns, Carlson?
Not at this time, no.
Well, let me be clear, Gray, that if you do anything to compromise the security of our operations, or to put the lives of our brothers and sisters at risk, you will be staring the end, the business end, of my shotgun. Is that clear?
I need to make it clear with you that even if I don't, there still might be Enclave officers attempting to probe the Brotherhood of Steel as well. And I have absolutely no control over them. That is only up to the discretion of my higher-ups.
Right. And if at any point you are drawn to their side and are directly opposed to us, I will not hesitate, nor can I hesitate, to put you down. Is that clear?
Oh, I'd expect it, but to tell you, I have some kind of discretion where I'm allowed to take on missions on my own. I'm one of a few people, and they certainly cannot execute people for simply not taking certain missions, but if they figured out what I was doing here now, I would certainly be dead. So,
Okay,
however, if they were to say something along the lines of, we're planning on an attack on them, probably get forward immediately. And I'd unfortunately would, well, have to decide whether or not to assist or not, or just simply watch from a distance, or maybe even help your group instead. I pray it never comes to that.
Alright then. Well, so long as we understand each other very clearly. For
Correct.
now, we will be giving you the title of Squire on a provisional basis, proving that we can trust you. You may yet rise further.
Very well.
But for now, within our organization, and to the public as the whole, you will be known as Squire Gray.
I might have to tell them that I joined the Brotherhood of Steel as an agent, to spy on you, but in reality, well, this is happening.
As long as you're killing Scorched, I don't care.
That's all I'm here for.
So
That's
long
all I
as you
wanna
are with
do.
us on missions, you are expected to wear Brotherhood apparel.
Of course, try to keep my
And
government
this
clothing
might be
under.
a stretch, but as long as you're treating the people next to you like brothers and sisters and looking out for their lives, you're 100% welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Alright then.
If
So let's go ahead and lead you out.
correct. If there was something to happen to my group, I would be here immediately. And well, I pretty much have nowhere else to go. But we'll see if that ever
welcome home,
happens.
Gray.
And Thank you.
I don't know how long you've been
Absolutely.
out there alone, but welcome home.
Appreciate it.